The embassy, and thank you all for coming to this beautiful event. We will celebrate Romanian artists living in Ireland, and I'm very happy to be alongside 9 poets and 1 painter, all Romanians, with this beautiful book that you will have a chance to see after the event. And it's not my story to tell, so first of all, I will leave the floor to the ambassador.
It's of course a great honor and pleasure to have you here. It's very special for us to host such an event. And first of all, I would like to congratulate, of course, the authors, the editors, and the painter. The whole team produced a very complex product that is available in English, and that's a plus because we try hard at the embassy to open ourselves up to talk about Romania, to present Romanian creations, you know, paintings, wine, poetry, music. So when Viorel told me about this volume, I said, well, that's a great thing. And I know that that's not the first time they are doing this. And a special thank you to Itaca, because it's not easy to be active for so many years and to encourage people from the community to write and to sing and to offer a bit of culture to the others. So it's about beauty and being besides, you know, our daily course and everything we have to do in our families with our childs. And from the very beginning, when I arrived in Ireland, I learned about their wonderful experience and the way they continue to endure and to do, and their monthly meetings. It's a very big thing, and I wanted to take this opportunity to thank them for what they are doing for the Romanian community, and to encourage to continue. And of course, they now will have the support of the embassy. And we are privileged because one of the authors is part of the embassy team, and Întâlnirile is there, and so somehow we have a spy, a cultural spy inside the embassy, and we are so proud that she recently won an award in court, if I'm not wrong. So we are doing our jobs at the office, in the consular section, you know, the other departments, but we find time to create with people like Laura and Viorel and all the others here, and it's a pleasure for me to know you all, and I'm glad you have to turn to the public, to the others, to those present here, but also because you put everything in the book to the broader community of people willing to know your feelings and how you see the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. And now I will give the floor to Viorel, who is the publisher of the book. Please, Viorel. Shall we sit? Yeah, of course.
Hi everyone, thank you for being here today. And actually, before thank you, I have to tell you a history, a short history, starting 500 years before Christ.
Is it short? 500 years.
Starting in 2011, actually, when we founded our first project was Cultural Center. We called Itaca after 1 year, actually, not from the beginning. And we started a literary meeting and cultural event for 1 year. And after that, we founded the Itaca magazine. It's a cultural magazine for Romanian Romanian writers abroad. This one is 11th year. 42nd number is in here if you want to see it. So, to have a publishing house was a dream. Our dream, my and my wife's dream. But we did it in 2020 for the start only for electronic books till last year when we make another try and we decide to print the books, and we have now 33 books printed. 5 of them are in English. And one of them is RoRELAND, where we included 9 Romanian poets living in Ireland and one lovely artist, Vlada Cibuc. It was a pleasure to meet her. I met her a few months ago only. In March, I guess it was, yeah. It was very quick, everything. So, this is the book. We'll speak about this all this evening. I'd like to thank you for your contribution, the poets, the art painter, and to the embassy, because they support us not only tonight, they promote our events, and Mr. Ambassador was very close to our events. Thank you very much, and thank you the team of the embassy. Thank you, Ioana, thank you, Georgetta, thank you, all of you. We come back to 500 before Christ, or?
We have all the time in the world.
Yeah, this one is the first step for us to promote the Romanian literature to the Irish people. You know them. We are very glad to have 2 of our guests tonight in Blackjack volume in 2016. And when we published 20 contemporary Irish poets, bilingual, translated in Romanian. And now we hope to have another Blackjack next year, maybe. It will help. But this step is is to promote the Romanian literature first in Ireland. And the next one will be to publish the Irish writers in Romanian, to promote them in our country. Our country left behind somehow, because this is our country now, and we are very happy here. Go on.
Well, I had a question for you. Why is
Yeah.
it called Poems for Another Life? Which life?
For another life, yeah, just I told you, we left country behind, we left family, friends, places in there. Some of us maybe will come back. Not me and Gloria. So this is our country now, and it's another life, because it wasn't easy after I came in Ireland to write poetry for a few months, maybe 1 year. But after that, I want to come back to the poetry, and it was difficult, it was different. Everything for me was different. The feelings, the word here. And I think I understood this country, this culture, and I tried to write in this style, maybe. Totally different about my previous poetry before to come here. Probably the other poets, I don't know exactly, because has not a special team this volume. Everyone wrote his poetry. And they're so different. The poems you see. reading this book.
We will listen in.
Yeah, they will read
Yeah.
one poem from the book. So, for me it's another life, this one in Ireland. This is a reason for the subtitle, Poem for Another Life. A better life, happy life.
A different one.
A different one, of course.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Now I will invite Simon, who is the coordinator.
Okay, so hi everyone. Really happy to be here, and I've had the pleasure of coordinating the volume, and actually the story that I wanted to start with is during my first year in university, my professor of linguistics asked, what is the primary function of language? And of course I would have said, oh, it's communication. We use language to communicate. But then he proceeded for about half an hour to explain how the primary function of language is to structure reality. We learn reality through language. We learn it through our mother tongue, so it's, in a way, it's our mother universe, our mother world, our mother understanding of what this world is like. So, obviously, we learn a new language. That means that we understand the world differently. And it takes a lot of courage to write in a different language, especially to write poetry, because it's not just the imagery, but it's also the sounds, it's the concepts, it's the dialogues, it's all of those things that you have to be paying attention to. So I'm very, very lucky to have been asked to coordinate this volume, to give some feedback and some suggestions to my fellow poets, and I thank them for the patience, and I thank Viorel and Itaca as well for just giving me this opportunity.
And now it will be the poetry reading that we were all looking for, and it's the first one is, I think, Simon? Or is it Eileen? Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. Eileen, please.
I wasn't expecting a seat, especially such short. I was privileged to be asked, invited to write the foreword for this book, and maybe I should explain my first involvement with Itaca and Viorel and Doria was way back in, I think, 2015 or 16, when I was invited to be one of the featured Irish poets in Itaca magazine. And that was really the first I heard of Itaca. And I thought, well, how extraordinary is this to have a group of Romanians founding a magazine and publishing to service the Romanian diaspora internationally. And then to be so generous as to include an Irish poet, a native Irish poet. I hate this having to say Romanian or Irish because we're all the same, but there was that lovely generosity and a reaching out as well to the poetry community here. And personally I was just thrilled because it was a big thrill, even though I couldn't read it, but I was trying to imagine what it would sound like to have my work and see it in Romanian. And that was a huge thrill. And then I met a Romanian friend in Killarney, and I will admit I only spoke to them so that they could read the poems for me, originally. And so that was lovely. It was like hearing a new music to the language, or to my words. It was a really big thrill. So, and then again I was lucky enough when Itaca were generous enough to publish Blackjack, which contained the work of 20 Irish poets. I mean, that's phenomenal, to track down 20 of us and keep us all in order and translations. I think it was 7 translators worked on that. So again, to be included in that was wonderful. And so then out of the blue, when Viorel invited me to write the foreword, I was surprised actually. I thought, well, why did he pick on me? And I was equally thrilled. So it was a great privilege and an honour to be invited and to do it, and to hopefully do justice to the work and to the wonderful artwork in the anthology. I suppose being a little, not to resort to cliche, but being a little island nation who we're well used to people coming here in waves, and we're also used to our people having to leave in waves also. And I like to think there's that sympathy or empathy between us all. Because what do you do when you have a new life in a new country? It's about what you find there, but it's about what you bring with you. And what we bring with us is ourselves physically, and whatever physically we can carry or possessions we can bring with us. But the most important thing we bring with us isn't that, it's really what's in here. Our memories, our stories, our mythologies, what's in the heart, what do we love? Because we love that wherever we are. And also our hopes and our plans for where we find ourselves now. And that's the richness of the coming and going. It's what we bring and what we take. And I'm just full of admiration for Viorel and everybody else who's involved in Itaca for what they made when they came here. Not just for themselves, but for the wider Romanian community. And now for us here as well. In one of the first emails, he's always joking, you know. In one of the first emails, he sent me a little mock-up of the cover, and he said, I'm not telling you what the name means, what RoRELAND means, because I want to see what you, as a native Irish person, will think it means. So I emailed back and I said, well, I know exactly what I think it means, or what it means to me, but I'm not telling you either. And so it wasn't until the foreword was written that I suppose we understood, but I think we both meant the same thing, didn't we? I think I might refer a little bit to the foreword that I've written, if that's okay. Just a few little things I mentioned in it. I should be talking about the poets, and the 9 poets in this, it's just wonderful because everything I spoke about as regards what we bring with us, and the hopes and the dreams, and the humour, and sometimes the anger, and a little touch of surrealism here and there, all of that is in the book. The tradition and the stories that have been brought here, and also the noisy streets of Dublin are here as well, and elsewhere. So it's everything. It's such a way of understanding, I think, the experience of all the poets in the book. There is no better way than to read what's in here. And when I first saw it, I thought of there's a famous, one of the earliest known poems in Ireland, which of course would have been Gaelic, Song of Amergin, who was a Milesian who came, and I thought of that because I'm from County Kerry, and he landed on the shores of Kerry, and when he set his right foot in Ireland for the first time, he uttered a spontaneous litany, which one of the repeat it's built on the litany of I am, I am, I am. So it builds into a sort of litany or a prayer or a claiming of the land he finds himself on. And there are various translations of it, but I love in Paddy Bush's translation where he says, one of his things is, I am God who kindles fire in the head. What a great phrase, fire in the head. That whole, it encompasses everything to do with inspiration and passion. And I felt it was really a claiming not only his place in the physical landscape of Ireland, but also at the centre of its creative energy, and maybe claiming part of that energy for itself, for himself. And I think that's what has been achieved and done with this anthology. It marks something new, a really important thing in Irish literature. And I think it's just the beginning. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they're going to do. What else is going to happen with this. And it was an absolute pleasure to read all the poems and to have that privilege of having the first look at it before any of you. So that was lovely.
Thank you, Eileen, for your beautiful words. Thank you. And now I think it's the reading stories, and the first one should be this one. Okay.
So I'm going to read you a poem called Storyteller. Today I sing along with seagulls to the lost who linger in the Irish Sea. They beckon me to their heaven, to become the salt water the mackerel breathes. It's been a scarlet life I've lived that etched lines of guilt and regret on my wrists. My ghosts used to catch up only when I would slow down, but now they keep pace. Their pot cooked before mine did. Untie me first. I must scrape the dead flesh off me, so I will teach you how to scorch the skies with a sightless eye.
The first time that I read what is the story behind the Storyteller?
I'm very fortunate to have a connection not only with Irish land, but with the sea. So when I first came to Ireland, my husband encouraged me to pick up a hobby other than writing. And I chose rowing. So I live close to the sea, and I do coastal rowing. I row out there, and I love it so much that I actually bought a boat, and I go by myself, or sometimes with one other person, and I try to do that very early in the morning, sometimes 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., and it's the sunrise. So I'm out there, and there's nobody else around, and you see the horizon, it's just a line, and you think of all the wonderful things that you can see above, and you kind of get scared of all the things that you cannot see below. So I started thinking about ghosts and how we have this vision of them being floating in the air, but what if they're swimming? What if they're swimming towards you as you're just completely unaware and happily paddling away? So that's just kind of, it's the inspiration, it's the connection for the poem.
It's a half scary story. It's okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Joanna. Thanks to Your Excellency Ambassador of Romania, Laurențiu Mihai Ștefan, for your support. Thank you, my colleagues from the consular station. Hello. Thanks to the team of the Romanian Embassy, and thanks to everyone present at this event. Thank you. And my poem is Contract. I donate all my days to you. and sign up for infinite smiles. I place the day on your shoulders and tell them to sprout. In your blood with my name, in your flesh with my life, in your heart with my soul. And because I want to negotiate the state of my love, look, I will draw up a contract granting you freedom for life. Yes, I love you much more than life itself. I'm sorry for my English.
Is it the perfect love that you're depicting in this poem? Oh, from your smile,
Because yes, because you asked me, I can't answer you, but look my poem, because my emotion is like a month. It is a love poem. It is a poetic contract, perhaps a tribute in general to the essence, to the purity of love. Usually, when I write a poem, I do it simple. Everything comes naturally. Everything comes simple and easy. I can't explain where it come from, but I know it's from me. The poem lives in my blood. The poem is like a love. That's it. Thank you.
Viorel, I think it's your turn.
Sorry, I forgot I'm in this book. Okay.
You can tell us the page, please.
Smoking prohibited. Earth beneath the grass, bones beneath the ground. One day, a better grass will grow out of us. That the earth will hold tightly to its asthmatic chest, waiting for time to wither it, and for longing for its country to dry, until there is nothing left of it but the cigarette smoke blown outside the poop doorstep by the pocketed mouth of the last drunken man. Raise some attention.
So you said, I was really curious about one day better grass will grow out of us. What do you mean?
The poet needs to explain his poem. That's not a poem.
But it has to mean something for you, at least.
We will write a poem like me after that.
It's a metaphor, I think.
Just a metaphor.
Something better doesn't come out of us or something.
Yala?
The poem is called Borders. Invisible borders and all around eyelashes. Locked inside our minds, we look outward like animals, caged by a master who loves pets. Indestructible borders and lines not to be challenged, not to be crossed. Cages of fear, bars made of our failure to dream. Across barriers, through hard rules, misconceptions, but all we need is a pen and some words to set us free. All we need is love, and the lasting landscape grows bridges.
I read that you're practicing medicine.
So my curiosity was, when do you have time, and is there like a thin red line between poetry and medicine?
As Viorel said, as Doria said, sorry, they just come out of us whenever you feel like it, but you have to feel something. You just take pen and start writing, and I don't know for everybody else, but for me, most of the time I don't correct anything, we just go 5 minutes, poems go. And it's probably a way to take out all these emotions and get rid of them by putting them on paper. And about medicine, there's always been parallels between medicine and poetry. But for me, it's kind of a parallel universe. Poetry is somewhere where I escaped from the things you can imagine I see in film. And I was going to leave it at that, but then I saw this painting, okay, which I see every day in the clinic, pregnant woman. So I think there's a thin line between everything in this world. And I love it.
Thank you.
Hello everyone. The poem that I'll be reading is called Epilogue. I stole a handful of time. The hourglass of my life is emptying with every crossroad. There's ashes and sands on my soles and my hands. Fires slowly burn from the inside. The wolf in me howls. It wants to eat the sacrificial lamb. The evening cajoles the morning star to shine. The moon is jealous and pale. Tonight she's frail. We used to dream of new worlds together. Now she leads me on a vertical path. Shy acacias scent the evening winds with a peaceful aroma. The sea, capricious prima donna, sings to me a last song. There will be no returning tide, and no sands, just ash on the islets. It is dark, and the wolf is hungry no more.
That was beautiful. And when I read it, it was, for me, it was a sad story and something that intertwines with the sea. So if you can tell us a little more about
Yes,
that.
I'm sure it sounds quite dark.
Yeah.
But I think that the moment we make peace with our mortality, that's when we begin to fully live. And to me also, faith peers into another life. And that centers me and it gives me peace. As far as the sea is concerned, and I agree with Viorel, I think that to everybody, probably each poem says something different. To me, it's a metaphor for life. It can be interpreted in different ways. And I think that sooner or later, for every single one of us, the tide will not return. And I really love to observe and to watch is the clouds and the sea. Just to walk, on the shore, it's so peaceful, and at the same time, I know that the sea can be very capricious, and it can be very angry, and it gives life and it takes it away. So there are different things that I believe, the metaphors in our poems mean to different people. To me, it's just stating the reality that we are finite, but that shouldn't make us depressed. It should just give us a more desire to live the life that we have and enjoy it with other people.
Thank you.
We all must therefore succumb to fate's time is but an exercise of chance, to be precise. And pronouns we adore, an idol full of greed, when fate settles the score, on gold it would not feed. Does any prayer suffice when fate is playing dice? We're yearning for advice. How do we soothe its vice? Fate is a carnivore who has no taste for money. She gambles for much more. My life, or yours, or any.
I'm really curious to find out more about Kronos time and the way that it does not fit in my life.
It does not fit on my yeah, so the theme in the poem is quite a simple theme. It's a very general theme. It can be expanded beyond imagination, and everyone can have their own interpretation on it. But the way it is related to, let's say, fate, is the fact, lies in the fact that we are actually ephemeral beings. Yes. So that's our fate here. We're passengers, temporary on this earth, let's say. And that's the main idea that I tried to expand in my poem. The fact that, well, fate is actually stronger than any idol, even time, because that is our fate on earth is to be subdued to time. We pay tribute to time. Some of us have more time, some of us have less time. That's our fate. It ends eventually, and we can't pay to get more days for ourselves. We can't pay time to get more seconds, more lovely moments to spend with our loved ones on this earth. And that's how time will not feed on one.
And
Adriana. Good morning. Thank you very much. Thank you, Viorel and Ní Chuilleanáin. Marketplace. In the inhabited place of our lifetime, there is a marketplace. Among the things we can buy, find some soil for a pint of wine, enjoy for next month. You are laughing at an art. I am gathering your laughter into lotus flowers. In heaven we are, not see. Together, I am smiling. You are getting my smile into unlikely diamonds. My English is learning in York. I write in Romanian, and from love for Romanian, give me permission to read on Romanian variant. Because traduttore on the healthcare. I write in Romanian. This is my book in Romania. Is a version from love for Romania. I read a version in Romanian. May I read? Market. În netrăitul loc, din netrăitul timp, un market. Lucrurile ne cumpără, se vinde tristețe, pe un litru de vin. Bucuria pe temirce. Tu râzi de o reclamă, eu ți-adun râsul în cascadă, în lotuși, în rai, nevăzut împreună. Eu zâmbesc, tu aduni surâsul netrăite răsărituri. Ai zis ceva, iubire?
Nu se aude, întrebarea se pierde în râsul plânsul. Doar tremurul aerului între noi, simt de pus în coș. Respirația mea te respiră. La casă, negustorul de suflete și de lucruri adună cumpărăturile din coșul nostru. Nimic plus nimic. Dar cascadele, dar totuși, lotuși, tremuri. Nu ține lumea aici, poate în viața vecină.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm sorry, everybody. It was really mad. How are you?
Oh, we are fine. How are you?
I'm good. I would catch my breath, actually. Thank you for having me here. I don't really know what am I supposed to do.
You are supposed to read your own poem.
Oh no, I have it. Another unfortunate incident. I forgot my glasses. But
I can give you mine.
It happens.
Happens to be a lot. Me too. Okay, so the poem I'm going to read is called Future Memories. It's English, I guess you already figured it out. So, the place is empty like a hole, like someone dirty at its soul. Remember where we used to meet, that small cafe in Wexford Street. We strolled in Dublin with no care, oblivious how time would fly, but we would always go back there to talk or watch the world go by. You'd have a coffee, sometimes wine. You'd be so pretty you would shine. I'd get drunk looking in your eyes and never care how fast time flies. The fireplace would bring us light, would bring us closer in the heat, and everything would be alright in that cafe or Wexford.
So, how are you seeing right now from Wexford Street?
The world is fine as usual, full of life, actually. Many things changed since this poem was written. In Wexford Street, I mean, not in general or in life. Honestly, I haven't been on Wexford Street for years, but I guess everybody knows the changes which happens in Dublin. Aside from that, everything looks good.
That's good.
Regardless if it's Wexford Street or Waterloo Street, or any street.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I would like to invite, I hope I'm pronouncing it well, Eileen. Sorry, Eileen, sorry. Sorry.
Hi everyone. This evening I'm going to read a poem which is called Hope. Hope wakes you up when the sun rises. You open your eyes, you take in the light, pull open your blinds and step on your balcony, daydreaming of a holiday in Tuscany. Hope helps you put on a smile, play the masquerade of life until you whisper no more and dream of a romantic kiss in Venice or Paris. Hope is not that wishful desire that sets your heart on fire and your mind wandering. Hope is a feeling deep inside, which makes you wonder if every wishful thinking might come to fruition. Thank you.
And now I invite Eileen. Please say a couple of words. I know you love Romanian poetry, so please.
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me. I have been so impressed by the life that is shown by this whole project, by the knowledge of a whole community creating itself through poetry. I became interested in Romanian poetry when I was asked to find a Romanian poet and translator. She was a woman. And I said, when do you want the book? And they said, it's 2 years from now. I said, that will give me time to learn Romanian. And they said, oh, we wouldn't ask you to do that. So, but I was determined that if I was going to translate a poet, I would learn the language. I was very fortunate. I had a Romanian colleague in Trinity who came and gave me lessons, and she was quite strict every Tuesday morning. She had an aunt who was connected with a journal, România Literară, and they said I should publish the work, I should translate the work of Eiléan Ní Chuilleanáin. Now, she had been translated, but not by an English speaker, so it was a first, in a way, for her. I had another piece of luck. Eiléan is a wonderful woman, very intelligent woman, but she has no English and very poor French. She speaks German and Russian. So I had to learn, in order to talk to her, I had to develop my Romanian quite well. I went and did a language course in Sinaia, and I've been back a few times since this. The book came out in 2005. It was part of the celebration of Cork, my native city, becoming European capital of culture. It was quite a short-ish book, and I wanted to go on translating, so I did some more poems, and my own publisher in Dublin brought out a book called Legend of the Walled-Up Wife, which is on the legend of Anna and Manole, which is a fascinating story. And actually my American publisher then took it on, and so I have a copy of that here, which I hope that the embassy will accept. All that happened between 2005 and 2011. 2012 is when the American book came out. But I was back in Romania in 2019. And so I feel now that I've seen the country. When I went there first in 2004, it was still almost in shock in many ways. When I went back in 2019, one could see how much had changed. But when I went back in 2019, I have to say I went to Bucharest, and no doubt there are other parts of the country which have not, which would have had quite a different experience. But I have so much enjoyed. I don't want to go on too long, but I'll just say one thing. The first time that I went to Bucharest, I was taken to see a little church, which was extremely beautiful. When I came out, there was a young man standing with his girlfriend. He was a young student, and they were handing out small cups of wine and a sweet to the passers-by, who were very few. So I had no idea, but the person who was with me said, you must accept this. So I accepted it and thanked them. And then she explained that his mother had died a month previously, but it was too far for him to go back a month after the death. He couldn't afford to go back. So they were standing there in Bucharest. And it seemed to me that this was such a wonderful image of human communication and human solidarity. Even the fact that he was doing this in a place that was so far from the place he, as it were, should have been in. I have been thinking about that event ever since, and thinking, could I ever write a poem about it myself? Because I would love to. But I'm just giving it to you now as an image of how you can make connections between people and between languages, even sometimes when we're not doing it in words at all. So thank you all very much, and congratulations on the new book.
honor. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I hope I can get up to this. I shouldn't. That's all. Okay.
Was the moral support?
Yes, very important. Thank you.
Vlada. A very talented painter.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm glad to present today at this event. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to be the illustrator of this volume of poetry and to participate in this small exhibition. I want to express my gratitude to Viorel and Shishu for giving birth of this project named Itaca, which in turn hosts Soul of Art. Spiritual elevation, cultivation, and the promotion of culture are the purpose of our existence as humanity. Creativity is the only form of human thinking where a person can reach a certain perfection and express it in artistic images. It is in art that we can seriously discuss the combination of idealism and realism. To unite something untenable, something that cannot be touched, with this concrete expression, it is only possible in art, because creativity is the only form of human thinking, where a person can achieve a certain perfection and expression in the artistic images, literature, character, and musical composition. I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to the Romanian Embassy and Mr. Ambassador for hosting this auspicious cultural event. Thank you.
Mr. Sexton.
Firstly, good evening everyone. I'm not going to sit down, this is a wonderful chair, but the thing is, if I sit down, I will feel compelled to behave myself. And I don't behave myself very well, and I will just get myself into a fidget of agitation, so I won't sit down. I hope that's okay. But it is a lovely chair. I'd like to say that, firstly, what a wonderfully appropriate thing to launch an anthology of the Romanian diaspora in this sovereign place of Romania, in our sovereign place of Ireland. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for hosting it here. Now, the reason I'm not sitting down as well is because I think on my feet, and the only way to think on your feet is if you're on your feet. So let's do some thinking on my feet. Okay, right, let's pick this up. This is very good. I love this. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't it absolutely beautiful? When I first came into contact with Viorel around 2015, I realised instinctively that we were brothers, that we were born in the same place, long, long ago, before ever we were born in this place. When Ireland and Romania were joined at the hip, we were born in that skellig of the mind. And here we are now, in this place, a place within a place. How appropriate. Viorel sent me a book of his poems a few years ago, and inside it said, "Dear John, here is a particle of my soul." Poetry, to us poets, are particles of our soul. So I thought to myself, let's open up this box of particles. And I did so. And the first thing I discovered, which I knew anyway before I discovered it, was that all the poems were in Romanian, a language I did not have. And I thought to myself, well, that's not going to stop me. And unlike Eileen, I didn't have 2 years to learn anything. So I thought, I'll go through this book and see if anything becomes itself to me. Because that's what poetry does when we read it, doesn't it? As art does. It becomes itself to us. So as I was turning the pages, I saw a poem called Bukoviana, and I thought, oh, I think I recognise that now. Wasn't there a Romanian poet? Yes, there was, George Bukovian, and wasn't he was a symbolist, so I recognised something straight away. And then I thought, you know, this is the place now to start rooting around for words, and I'm sure I will find something that I recognise, even though it's in Romanian. And I did. I recognised the word in Romanian. That's exactly the same as the word I know in English, Lucifer. Yes, I recognised the word Lucifer, and immediately, as soon as I saw that dibble, I thought, this is the poem for me. So I started to root my way into it, stumbling my way into it, and I won't call it a translation, but I made a transversion of that poem. And in that making of that transversion, I joined again, hip to hip, with the poet, my brother Viorel. Eileen mentioned Amagun, our legendary first poet, and Eileen is quite right. The Song of Amagun, the ancient poem, is very appropriate to this book, because the Milesians came, and when they made landfall, Amagun spoke the place as himself, and he became that place by taking some ownership of it. And that's exactly what we do when we are part of the diaspora. And us Irish understand the concept of diaspora very well. And you know, I was born in 1958 from the small Irish Republic of my mother's womb. But she was in London at the time, and that's where I slipped out. And that's why I have an English accent. So I understand the concept of the diaspora. The thing is, the Song of Amagun, or the triumphant Song of Amagun, as it's also known, was Amagun's second poem. Before that, he uttered the first poem. And he uttered that poem out on the ocean. And we are told in the myth, out in the ocean, beyond the 9th green wave. And the reason he uttered this poem, it was a charm, it was a magic spell. He uttered it because a magic storm had been sent to the Milesians, and they were in danger of drowning. So he created, extempore, off the top of his head, a poem to calm the waves in the old Irish metric colocon. And once he had finished his poem, the waves were calmed. Well, this book calms the waves for you and gives you landfall. And you know, one thing I want to say about Viorel, the RIA, and all at Itaca, they have been generous from the very beginning towards Irish poets. Many of us have been invited into Itaca magazine, and that's very important for us. It's very important for us to make new brotherhoods and new sisterhoods with others, because the Milesians, one of our early races, was from another place. We are all from another place. And now we are all together in this place. And may we all go on and live in RoRELAND. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all, and now please enjoy some Romanian wine and sweets. And not a little bit.